So my mom married Mark last year, and we moved to a new state. We have a 3-bedroomed house. My mom and Mark have one room. Mark's daughter Lily, tween, has her room, and I, young teen female, share with my brothers, teen, 18 and 22. I've shared a room and bunk beds with them since I was 5. I can't go into Lily's room except when I have to clean it because Mark says I had to do chores to live there. Mark doesn't want my mom to work, but he also doesn't give her money for us because that's our dad's job, so I was on my own to get anything I needed. A guy at my school noticed I didn't have lunch most of the time, so he started bringing extra food for me, and then I started going to his house after school. His family has been nice to me. They took me out with them and got me a pair of shoes because mine were too small. They all went out for me for Christmas. I got 2 pairs of boots and another 2 pairs of shoes, 6 pairs of jeans, 4 pairs of leggings, like 20 shirts, 2 jackets, a raincoat, rain boots, an umbrella, a new backpack and a water bottle, and even some hair stuff and some makeup. They also got me glasses. My mom took everything back for store credit and she used it to get herself stuff. My friend's dad picked me up the day after to take me to camp. He signed my friend and me up for cooking camp and I told him what happened. He called CPS and they came to camp to talk to me. A couple of days later, they came to the house to speak to my mom, and now I'm staying with my friend and his dad. He reordered everything he got me, plus he had me go into Target and some other stores to get a couple of things until my stuff gets here. But my mom is really mad that I told him she returned everything he got for me for store credit for herself, and she's saying I got her in a lot of trouble, so I wanted to know if I was wrong for telling him that she returned everything. Edit, I think my dad is in jail. I haven't seen him or talked to him since I was little. Not the idiot. Let me repeat it. None of this is your fault. Your mother had no right to take your things. They weren't hers. I'm sorry you're in this situation. You don't have great parents. You did not get her in trouble. Her poor decisions got her in trouble. Did she not think your friend's dad wouldn't notice that you were never wearing the stuff you bore? Even if you'd not told him, he would have asked about it sooner or later. When I read about Mark not letting your mom work because it's your dad's job to provide for you, it sounded horrible, but maybe there was child support. But if your dad is in jail and everyone knows he can't work or pay child support, then Mark and your mother are even more disgusting because there is no one to support you. They deserve whatever CPS and the law have coming to them. Wow, just wow. This sounds like financial abuse to me, giving an impossible reason why she can't have money. Even outside of the financial abuse, there's no way a teen girl should be sharing a room with 3 older boys while another female child gets a room to herself. Bless that boy from school for befriending you and his family, for giving you a safe haven and for raising their son right. And I am so glad to hear you have these people in your life. Sweetie, as a mom, I want to tell you that you 100% did the right thing by telling your friend's dad what was going on. Let your friend's family help you. They want to help you. Your mom stole from you. She got herself in trouble. Your mom is being selfish by trying to convince you that you were wrong to say anything because you're keeping quiet, which is good for her. You're not wrong. Your mother is lying about you being wrong to manipulate you. Your mom might be mad, but the only person she has a right to be mad at is herself. She allowed herself to get trapped in a marriage with a controlling man who won't allow her to work to support her minor children, and her husband won't support you. A good parent prioritizes her children. Unfortunately, your mother didn't do that. That's why she's in trouble with CPS. All of this is a big deal. None of this is your responsibility. My husband and I were planning a vacation for us and our 2 kids. We'll be gone for 8 days in the summer. We've saved for this trip for years and we're super excited. This place is about 3 hours away from my husband's family. They invited us to spend some days with them. However, from the start I said I wanted alone time with just the 4 of us. With the kids getting older, we don't spend much time with them. We don't have the money to travel often. I suggested 3 to 4 days with his family, then we go to the actual vacation spot. I also set the boundary we'd stay in a hotel. They all seemed to agree. Then, out of nowhere, my husband's family decided to go to our vacation spot for the whole 8 days. That's when the hints began that we all get a house to rent. I said no. I love my husband's family, but it'd just be too much and I wanted time just us. We don't need to be around each other 24/7. After that, my sister-in-law started making plans for all 8 days, with us included. I put my foot down to my husband and said no. We could spend 4 days with his family, maybe 5, But I wanted just a few just us days. We never go on vacation, and his family visits once or twice a year, so it's not like we don't see them. My husband says I've hurt his family's feelings. When I spoke to my sister-in-law, she said I should understand why it hurts. I won't spend the entire time with them. I asked how they'd feel if they planned a trip, and we tried to change the plan. She said family does this stuff for each other. I'm already dreading the trip and wonder if I'm being overdramatic and should just give in to avoid drama. Am I the idiot? Edit, we chose this spot because it's somewhere our kids have always wanted to go. Of course, we can't give them everything they want in life, but now we can finally afford it. As I said, we never get to vacation and I wanted to give this to them. We can't cancel or change dates as we put down non-refundable deposits. Not the idiot. My in-laws did this. It ruined the entire vacation. My condolences. Your husband should watch the old John Candy film, The Great Outdoors, to see just how far spending a vacation lodging with family can go south. She said, family does this stuff for each other. Yeah, the Barone family maybe. Not everyday healthy families. Your sister-in-law can be hurt, but that doesn't mean you have to spend 8 days in a house with her. Just because someone experiences an emotion doesn't mean everyone in their lives has to accommodate it. You will be frustrated and sad if you don't get a few days with just your family. But your in-laws don't care about that. Your feelings are not resonating with them, so why should their feelings dictate your vacation? Why does your husband care more about his sister's feelings than yours? Your offer was more than reasonable. Hold your ground and tell your husband to get his head out of his butt. Otherwise, you will resent every moment they're in your space, hijacking your vacation. They are being manipulative and you've given more than an inch and they're taking a mile. If they get their way, you'll be miserable and resentful. Don't let him appease them at the cost of your feelings on this one. I have a 19-year-old stepdaughter, Molly. She attends college 2.5 hours away and visits us a few times a month for 2 or 3 days at a time. For the most part, she's pretty good and I love her and enjoy planning activities and outings when she's here. For the past 6 months or so, Molly has become extremely picky about the food my husband or I cook, but not any other food. She'll try a dish, take one bite, and throw it in the trash if she doesn't like it. I mean, throw the entire dish in the trash, not just the bite she tried. For example, I'll make a homemade lasagna that she's had many times before. She takes a bite, decides it's not to her liking, and immediately tosses the entire pan into the garbage. This always happens when neither my husband nor I are in the kitchen with her. We've both asked Molly why she throws the food out and it's always the same response. It wasn't any good and she can't eat it. We've asked her to stop throwing away entire dishes because we will eat them and she says she doesn't want to even look at them anymore. As far as we know, Molly only does this with us. I finally told Molly and my husband, he agreed with me, that she will assume full cooking responsibilities when she's here the next time she tosses a dish either of us has made. That way, whatever is made will be to her liking. It happened again, and I stuck by what I'd said. Molly got upset and went to her mom's, 30 minutes away, because her time with us or her mom is supposed to be fun and relaxing, not having to do chores. Molly's mom called my husband in a rage, screaming about how we were mistreating Molly. She's a child, and it's not that hard to just fix a different meal to make her happy, and she accused us of emotional and mental abuse. Molly's mom does not cook, so they either go out or order food for their meals. Molly is currently refusing to visit unless I apologize to her and agree she can do what she wants with the food. My husband misses his daughter, but he's siding with me on this, saying Molly has been wasteful and disrespectful of our cooking and hospitality. We never cook anything we know she dislikes. When she's here, we tend to make dishes that she's always enjoyed before and ask for her input and suggestions, but she says she doesn't care what we make. I feel bad because I know this is hurting my husband and I do miss Molly. Plus, I want her to spend time with us and have a good time doing so. Am I the idiot? Edit, Molly isn't pregnant. Molly is very, very openly lesbian. This only happens at our house. When we go out or order food, she happily finishes her meal, gets dessert, and often finishes my food too, which I absolutely don't mind. Molly has no awareness of money because she's never had to pay for anything herself, nor has she ever had a job. My husband and I are fully funding her education. Plus, she gets $500 a month from us for living expenses. Her mom, my husband's parents, and her mom's parents also send her $500 a month to do with as she pleases. Wow, I mean, that's an amazing lack of self-awareness. She doesn't seem to care about the cost of such waste. Truly, I'm baffled here. Consequences suck, but there it is. You're nicer than I am, though. You only want her to cook what she will eat. I go a step further and demand reimbursement of the cost of any dish she so brazenly throws out. I'm glad your husband is sticking with you in this. The daughter is obviously at a job for anything else she wants to buy. What an entitled brat! I'd be utterly mortified if I raised such a wasteful and self-entitled brat. It's time for your husband to actually parent her instead of throwing money at her. My sister and I had our sons around the same time. My nephew will have a birthday, tween, in October, and my son, same age, will have his birthday next month. I was 20 when I had my son, which was a big deal with my sister. She's 10 years older than I am and had no expectations regarding me as a mom. She predicted I would end up single, my son's dad would bail, and I would give up within the first year. Instead, we were married and we had 2 little girls after our son. We are very different parents. My sister is very strict and disciplined as a mom and has a lot of rules and swift, harsh punishments for bad behavior or any subpar behavior. My husband and I would fall into a more gentle parenting kind of deal. We teach our kids how to act in public, but we do so in a very different way than my sister and her husband. My nephew can be very challenging and he's an angry little boy. I suspect it's because his parents are often angry and he's picking up on that and building resentment, which has made his behavior worse. Our parents have brought this up to my sister in the past and she's told them it's not true and claimed my son behaves far worse despite them saying it's not even close to the truth. Our parents had both boys on Saturday and my sister and I arrived at the same time to pick them up. Our parents' elderly neighbour approached my sister and told her that she should speak with their son because he's rude and disrespectful to others. My sister told the neighbour that she had the wrong sister and that my son was the kid who got into trouble. The neighbour said she knows the boys apart and who the mom to each is. She told my sister that my son was very sweet and showed no disrespect the way her son did. My sister was furious. The neighbour told her that thanking someone, my son, for picking something up for her does not warrant being yelled at and cursed at by a small child. Apparently my nephew got an attitude and told her nobody has to help her because she's old and can't do anything for herself. My sister went off on the neighbour, said her son was so much better behaved and accused her of spreading lies. The neighbour walked away mid-tirade and my sister started to turn on me. Instead of letting her, I said she needed to stop being bitter and examine her parenting instead of going off on people complaining about her son's behaviour. I told her I would not let her take it out on me, that she was wrong about me as a mom, and that I feel like a lot of her anger comes down to that. She hates that I don't get the same comments. She tried to yell at me, but I just got my son from our parents and left. My parents asked me what happened and I told them. They said I did nothing wrong, but my sister and her husband are both now coming for me for what I said, and they told me it wasn't my place to say all that disrespectful stuff. Am I the idiot? Denial is a mighty river. I think your read on the situation is a good one and shows that you know more about effective parenting than your sister. Children's behavior, especially small children, is often a direct reflection of how the parent acts around them. Good on you for raising a kind little boy. Keep it up. You are not the idiot. And deep down, Sis knows this. Reality is a hard pill to swallow for some people. She sounds like pride is her downfall. She thinks that she's automatically more intelligent and knows better because she's older. Any evidence to the contrary basically pulls the rug out from under her worldview. She doesn't want to feel inadequate to someone that she feels like she's supposed to be better than, so she prefers to live in denial and lash out. Yeah, I think she's jealous. Maybe she wanted you to fail so she could feel good about her own choices for some reason, and as that hasn't happened, she's lashing out. Maybe she's in too deep to admit her way of parenting isn't working. Either way, I think you need to keep your son away from her for a bit. The way she keeps trying to use him as a scapegoat is not healthy. Also, your parents need to decide if they want to continue watching your nephew if he behaves so badly. I have a co-worker who loves being engaged. She's the quintessential typical bride-to-be. She has her wedding planned to the smallest detail and always talks about it. She's the type to share mood boards and swatches with us during lunch. This isn't something that bothers me, but I wanted to paint a picture for context. I actually like talking to her about her wedding. The issue recently was that she was sharing with us about her honeymoon destination. It's a cute seaside city and I thought it sounded great. I shared it with my husband and we decided that we'd love to take a vacation like that too. Because of our itinerary, we decided to visit a different but very similar city in the same country. Think San Diego versus Santa Barbara if you're in America. When I returned from my trip, my co-workers were excited to see pictures and hear about the trip, and I also shared some chocolates that I brought back. The entire time, my co-worker was kind of icy, and I finally found out it was because she thought I stole her idea for a vacation. She said that since I've gone on a similar vacation, I've stolen the magic of coming back to talk to our co-workers about it. Even though it's a different place, she says it was similar enough and that it was kind of crappy for me to take the attention when she's been planning her trip for a long time. I don't feel like I did anything wrong since we went to a different city and did different activities than my co-worker talked about. She likes sporty things like hiking, whereas I visited museums and dined out more. But she's so upset she's talking about changing the destination of her honeymoon entirely, so I feel like I'm missing something. Please let me know if I was an idiot, if I need to apologize. I've stolen the magic of coming back to talk to our co-workers about it, because, as everyone knows, that's the really important part of a honeymoon, bragging about it later to people you work with. And did you go in the same year she's getting married? Because it's her wedding year, her honeymoon year. How could you? Your co-worker just has severe main character syndrome and you are not the idiot. What's the point of being a special princess for a few days if you can't show everyone just how special you are? But for real, needing to be seen at all times as the special person to this level sounds exhausting and expensive. Social media is a disease. Experiencing her honeymoon is less important than photographing and presenting it later to a rapt audience.